I'm Joshua Bardwell, and you're going to learn something today about straps. Yeah, battery straps. Neck straps for your transmitter, head strap for your goggles. The same company makes the best one of all three of those things, and I'm going to tell you who it is. And they're thinking about making a new kind of foam for your goggles that's way better than what's currently out there, and I want you to get excited about it because they think it's too expensive to make and nobody will buy it, but I disagree. Stay tuned. I am way more excited about this video than I really ought to be, because what we're supposed to be excited about in this hobby is new powerful motors and props and ESCs and frames are fast. But what really gets me excited is simple products that have had a lot of thought put into them that fix these little niggling problems that bug us on a day in and day out basis. And I'll give you an example. If I give you a motor that makes 5% more thrust, most of us are probably not ever going to notice the difference. But if I give you a battery strap that doesn't let go when you crash or break every third time you use it, that's going to make a huge difference in your experience of flying. And that's why I'm so excited to show you these products today. These are three products from Newbeedrone, and it turns out, I don't know, those guys want me to be super excited about their new B-Brain flight controller, and maybe I'll get excited about that, but what I'm really excited about is just these bread and butter day-to-day products they make that they put so much thought into. I think they're the best. Let me tell you why. And we're going to start with their neck strap, and here's why this is the best neck strap you can get for your transmitter. I'm going to show you. That's why. You can take your freaking transmitter off and set it down without having to take this thing off your head. This is a hassle to do when you're flying, especially if you got goggles on your head with antennas sticking up, and as you go to take this off, it snags on the antenna, right? It's a hassle. With this little clip, you can put your transmitter down, you can go get your quad, you can go do whatever, you pick it up, put it back on. It's very easy. It's a very small thing, but it's a very thoughtful thing. This is really nice. The other reason this is the best is that it's so easy to adjust. Now, I don't have an alternative one to show you, but the way that they run the straps on some of the other ones mean that in order to adjust the length, you have to like feed through and around and through, and if you've ever done it, you know what I'm talking about. These are completely independent, and just like you think it would be, you just move the slider and the length adjusts. So it's very easy to adjust the length to exactly where you need it, and it just pops right off here. Now it isn't perfect. There's a problem, and the problem is right here in the buckle. I'll show you what I mean. Now this is my actual transmitter. I'm going to just put this strap on it. The problem is that if you move it just right, you can get this to, let me see if I can simulate it. I don't actually know. It's only if it's at the end, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I've soldered mine on to prevent this from happening, so I can't take mine off to show you. But if you've got this on the very end, you can twist it in such a way that it pushes this in and makes it release. I don't think I can do it except if it's in the very last hole. No, it's only if it's in the very last hole. So maybe the solution is just to use the second to last hole. But the only problem with this clip as it stands currently is if you're in the very last hole, and it happens only when you're just picking, here you can see right here how it would press. It only happens when you just pick it up. It doesn't let go once you've picked it up. But so many times I would go to pick it up, and I would pick it up by the strap, and it would just pop right off. And I was like, how did that happen? So I have it soldered shut, and that's fine because I can still put it down just by taking that off. But if you do get this one, you may want to take your soldering iron and just solder it shut to prevent that. Newbeedrone is aware of this, and they're trying to find another clip that will work better, but for the time being, that's what we've got. I still think it's the best neck strap you can have. I don't want anything else. The battery strap. Battery straps, they might be the most important accessory we have. If the battery strap lets go, you're not flying. If it lets go when you crash, then you lose the battery, and then you can't use your beeper or your video transmitter signal strength to find your quad. If it lets go while you're in flight, you're going to have a bad day. And if it breaks all the freaking time, that's just annoying because you want to be flying, not fishing another battery strap through your frame. The battery strap from Newbeedrone, number one, it's rubberized. I don't use any battery straps that are not rubberized. I don't want them. Even if you have something like a sticky pad on your quadcopter frame, the rubberized strap is just a little bit of extra insurance that the battery's going to stay where it needs to be. So we got the rubberized surface. It's thick. It's thicker than most other battery straps you've seen, but not super thick. Like I've seen some even Kevlar ones, and they're really thick and really heavy. They don't break, but they're also not rubberized. So this is a good balance between not being too thick, but being thick enough that it's not going to break. And it's got really great stitching here. It doesn't have just one little row of stitching like some of them do. It's actually got a full fold over and a lot of stitching here. So this, a lot of times I find that this is what gives way, the stitching here, more than anything else. The only weak spot on it, if there is a weak spot, is this plastic buckle here. I haven't had one break, but I've had other ones break. You know, it is just a piece of plastic. It may give out. I almost think the piece of plastic will give out before the strap does. It's just such a robust strap. So this is a fantastic strap, and it's what I like to use on all my quads if I have it. I have other stuff too. Let's face it, I'm a YouTube reviewer. I get more battery straps than I know what to do with, but this is the one I would buy if I was buying my own. The goggle strap. Now, this is just your normal sort of premium quality goggle strap. It's nice fabric, it's stretchy, etc. But what they've done that makes it really nice is they've added this glue layer to the inside, or plastic, or whatever the hell it is, and it means that the strap stays in place on your head. It's not constantly trying to slide up your head. Actually, some people object to this, and they actually call it the hair puller. It actually pulls your hair a little bit if you're not careful. But it does mean that when you get the strap set on your head, it's going to stay where it is. And it's also got that same glue on the inside here where the battery goes to help hold the battery in place. Although, as you can see, this is my other set. I just use some battery straps there to help make sure it stays where it needs to be. The last thing I want to show you is this new goggle foam that Newbeedrone has. They've made prototypes of it. They sent me one of the prototypes, and I loved it. And when I was in San Diego, I met up with the guys, and I said, "Hey, if you got any more of that goggle foam, where can I buy that?" And they said, "Oh, well, we may not make it. It's really expensive to make." So this is the Fatshark goggle foam, and if you have Fatshark goggles, then you're very familiar with this foam. It's kind of squishy. And the real problem with it is, number one, it soaks up sweat like crazy. And number two, it falls apart. And it falls apart like on a moment's notice. It doesn't last really long. And when it does fall apart, it just disintegrates. So you'll be in the middle of flying and all of a sudden, that just falls apart. It's okay, but it's not great. Let me show you the stuff that Newbeedrone has given me. Now this stuff is, the best way to explain it is, if you've ever had one of those makeup remover pads for your face, ladies, there's no ladies watch, there's very few, I know. But it's very similar material to that. It is very dense. It's nice and squishy. It makes a great seal to your face. It's very comfortable up against your skin. I wish you guys could feel this. It's a very smooth, with just a little bit of tackiness to help them stay in place. But it just makes a great seal. It's very comfortable. It's thick enough that they're not smashing against your face, but not. It could even come in a couple other thicknesses. You can see this one is a little thick. I told them especially for people who need to get their eyes as close as possible to the screens, to fix the blurry edges problem, they could make it in a little bit thinner size, but I've had no problems with it, even in this. I think this is 7 millimeters, maybe 5. I think it's 7 millimeters. And the nice thing about this, number one, is it doesn't really absorb sweat exactly like the other foam does. But here are the ones I've been wearing on a day-to-day basis for months now, and you can see that around the edges. Let me hold this closer to the camera. You can see that around the edges it's getting a little ragged, but it's actually still perfectly functional. So it's had a much longer service life than any of my Fatshark foams have. And the argument I make, they say, okay, well, I don't remember the price they said, but it might be something like $7 or $10. I'm just making that up. Don't hold me to it. And that's way more expensive than these. That's like 2 or 3 times as much as these. But if you think about it, if this lasts twice as long and it's way more comfortable and way better, I think I would pay for it. So Newbeedrone is thinking about making this as a product, and I hope they do, because when these finally do wear out and I can't get them anymore, I'm going to be really sad. So I want you guys to reach out to Newbeedrone and tell them if you honestly would pay, $10 for this, let's say. I just made that number up. Don't hold me to that. But if you honestly would pay $10 for this, tell them, so that maybe they'll think about putting it into production. I hope they do. That's going to do it for this review of these four great products from Newbeedrone. I really like it when people do small things right. It's getting annoyed about little things that makes me a good reviewer. And when I look at these products, it really just does my heart good to know that somebody made a really good battery. Who cares about battery straps? They're just a giveaway item. They don't even sell these they don't even sell this thing. I mean, you can buy it, but they don't care. It's a giveaway. No, I care. I want a good neck strap, a good battery strap, a good goggle strap, and a good piece of foam for my goggles. It's like if you walked around all day in uncomfortable shoes, it'd ruin your day. Well, this is kind of like that. Thank you, Newbeedrone, for making these great products. I promise to review your Bee-Brain 2. Yes, I'll get to that too, but for now, we'll do the non-sexy products. Links in the video description if you want to buy any of this stuff. Thank you for watching. Happy flying.